This is JTQ9 and welcome back to the channel. In this war, Season 32, War 10, unfortunately we matched up against 4 Loki. And not because we've already fought them and lost them this season, but because, honestly, we have some longtime friends in the other alley with some iconic names. And also, furthermore to that, as seen in the title, the 2 Clowns, 1 Cup, Clown is an officer in both these alliances. So I know whenever we do match up, it is very, very stressful for both, because obviously he wants for Loki to win because they're doing really well this season. They're second, as you've seen in the master rankings. And then furthermore with us is that we've taken down some big alliances in the last couple of wars as well, moving us up in the standings where we're now 4th in the master bracket, and I guess that's 7th overall. So it's just, regardless of who wins here, it's just a bad situation because it's unfortunate. We would have rather matched someone else and had a chance for either of us to move up. But anyways, so let's start with the wars now, and here we go. So with regards to my fights, I had 5 fights this war, and honestly, I thought I had 5 good strategies going in. But as you will see, it didn't end up working out according to plan. So what I'll do is I'll start with the strategies, kind of how you're supposed to play the node, and then we'll comment on exactly what happened after. So for this first node, I'm playing against Mr. Negative, and it's got the ebb and flow knockdown as well as right back at it, which makes him debuff immune anytime you knock him down. But to do any damage, you also need to knock him down. So with this one, strategy is pretty simple. You get 200 power back, get to 8 or 9 monster mashes by basically parry heavying, wait for the debuff immune to fall off, and then go ham with the SP2 bleeds. If he gets to an SP1, just be careful if he throws it to avoid the inverted controls, or not to avoid it, but just to be careful with it. And honestly, the fight should be over pretty quick. So that was the plan. So what ended up happening was when I did my first parry heavy, I was like, oh, great. I forgot. Now I have to wait out the 8 seconds before I can parry heavy again. So I was like, okay, this is already not going to plan because I had only thought about that after with regards to the bleed. Okay, so I got the second parry in. That's great. And then at this point, okay, we're just going to wait and parry heavy him again, and then to knock him down to get the protection off. But then by doing that, I decide for whatever reason that I'm going to retaliate on that, play him how you're supposed to play him, but then not benefit from any of the bleeds. I mean, fortunately, in this case, I was still doing enough damage with Moleman with the SP2s that it was okay, but it definitely wasn't the initial plan kind of going into it. So that was plan 1. So for plan 2 now. So for this Mangog, this fight for me I'm very familiar with. I take it in AQ all the time. Not with Doom, so it should be easier as my Doom's in R4. But this one here is basically cycle a 3-4 hit, finish with a heavy, get the stagger up, watch for the hatred build up, because anytime you do a 5-hit combo, he'll add to the hatred, or anytime he throws basically a special 1. And when he gets to that 10 of hatred buildup and throws a special, gain an unstoppable for 8 seconds. So you kind of want to avoid that where you can. Also, being a Mystic Defender, I was assuming that they were either running Mystic Dispersion 4-5, so I was trying to be just pay attention to the power control. And obviously, when you start off by taking a bunch of hits to the face, it's always a fun way to start a war, because your failsafe of if he gets to an SP3 is out the window. So here again, just doing 3-4 hit combos, throwing the heavy, making sure the stagger stays up, knocking him down, because again at the same time you need to do that to get any kind of damage dealt to him. And then I was gonna do your standard kind of Doom cycle, get to the SP3, wait till he has at least 2 bars of power, throw it, get the power back, and then do some additional damage that way. But the issue is as well is that I was being careful not to do a 5-hit combo, although I did it there, as you see his hatred built up. And at the same time, I wasn't able to push him back to an SP3, so my SP1 didn't drop him below 2 bars of power and give me an SP2 as well. So, yeah, and, as I kept taking shots to the face, which, with Doom is nice, at least, because he's pretty much a tank and can take that abuse. But, yeah, this fight should have been much cleaner than what it was. Fortunately, I said the Doom is a beast. he controls power very easily, especially in the right hands. And like I said, as long as you're not pushing towards that not monster mash, that was my last fight, but with the hatred buildup, that's basically what you need to pay attention to here. For my next fight against the Ultron, I apologize for this video. I, for whatever reason, didn't record, but I still wanted to go through the strategy of the fight that I took. It's basically parry heavy a couple times, get the monster mass up. Ideally, keep the True Strike on as a safety net, but also so you don't have to worry about the evade timer. And really, you just need to pay attention to the armor up timer and punish the SP1. To get the protection down, you want to do the unstoppable intercept, throw the SP2s, and it's pretty straightforward fight. Fortunately, in this one, I actually made a couple mistakes and took a bunch of damage, so I had to take some potions to heal up for my next one. But other than that, it's a pretty straightforward fight, and with Moleman, he makes it pretty easy. So for my fourth fight, I have a fight against Sasquatch. And on this one here, I use an invulnerability boost to start. And the idea is to do, medium, light, medium, bait heavies to build the spoilers, evade the S1, punish the S2 where possible, maybe try and intercept to get the protection down to see how the fight was going, with damage done versus time elapsed, and just try to play it safe. I'm assuming, again, he has MD4, MD5, so I don't want to do too many dexes and punish, and then to build that power that way. So, yeah, so that was the plan. But this fight, all I can say is I was very nervous going in because, again, I hadn't used Torch in a serious environment basically since Abyss, and I really rarely used him in season because he was always on defense. So it should have been a pretty straightforward fight for me, but again, as mentioned in my kind of thumbnail and heading into this video, is that nothing ever went to plan here. So I mean, so far so good. I was looking at the time, I still had plenty of time left. I was baiting the SP2, waiting for the unstoppable to break off, baiting the heavies where possible, trying to keep an eye on all the armor ups. But here's where all of a sudden my failsafe was gone, because now I can't take an SP3. He's basically one hit away, and I am dancing in the corner, kind of freaking out at this point in the fight. As I'm watching this back, I remember kind of the anxiety I had where I was just taking punishment. Fortunately, I somehow got him to throw an SP2 and to kind of build myself out of the corner. I guess the only benefit for taking all that beating in the corner was that I built up a lot of smolders. And before the protection came up, I was able to get an SP3 off, which unfortunately didn't kill him. But because I was able to get some hits with the Nova Flame on, there were some power stings on him, which ended up killing him. So for that fight there, oh boy, at this point I was shaking really, really hard. Happy to have it done, but that could have easily ended up in my first death of the season. Now for my last fight of this war against SpiderMan, I have been flow intercept with Mighty Charge. This one here is similar to all the other strategies. Keep True Strike up, so he's able to shrug off any popper gets put on me, and also so he doesn't evade. So it should have been a pretty straightforward fight. Again, try to get close enough where I can actually parry him to get the heavies, and then do the unstoppable kind of intercept to get it down. So that was supposed to be the game plan, but to be perfectly honest with you, I never really felt overly comfortable in this fight. I don't know why. I mean, it started off really well. I still have my True Strike up. I have, the Frenzy's activated. The bleeds are going. Throwing the SP2, well, right when protection went up was not ideal. But then after this, for some reason, it just kind of went sideways. I don't know if it was because maybe I was still a little nervous or shaken from the previous fight, if I was trying to monitor too many things going on. I lost my invul boost there is now gone. Getting back into a corner. I've now pushed him to an SP2, which is never good. Take a nice heavy there, which was just, lots of damage. And then, take a couple more hits and get down to 35% health. And, when you get down to that level, you want to make sure that you let them throw an SP3 to, potentially finish you off. Fortunately, in this case, I had a 33% damage reduction off an SP boost going. I don't know why I put that on. Just to be safe, I guess. I usually throw them on even if I don't think there's a risk of them. And I'm happy I did this time because it literally saved me in this fight. So right after that, I was able to throw an SP3 right away, which activates my frenzy, which I didn't even realize at the time. I got a nice intercept there to do some additional damage. And had I realized my frenzy was kind of still going at this point, as opposed to, oh my god, I have no health left, just play safe, just play safe. And then fortunately I was able to get it down. So with that, the 5 fights I took more shots to the face in this war than probably the previous 7 combined. It wasn't my best, but all I'll say is that we did end up pulling up the victory against Forloki, which was for us a huge upset, or a huge win, which considered an upset. Our battle group did end up beating their battle group as well. And here were the final results of the war, where we died 6 times to their 9. Hard fought overall, some different strategies, different fights being used all throughout the maps, and had a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.